important point, right? Important point, important line. A goal point for FGO for Mahoyo collab and its secrecy. Num 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 num. The interviewer specifically says, "I would like for you to do think about all the ninth year work that you've done so far, Mr. Takeuchi. How has the year treated you?"この1年は特にサバフェスに始まり、サムライレムレントや魔法使いの夜のコラボもあって、ここ最近の中でも密度の高い年だったと思いますよ。いよいよクライマックスに向き合って最後の準備期間という前提もあって、そのために細かな部分も進めて、順調に攻めていくような運営をしてきました。So he specifically says, within these years, we had, starting from the Servant Festival, we had Samurai Remnant and Witch and the Holy Night collab. Left and right, it was quite the thick, right? Thick in story, thick in characteristics, just overall very dense in events, in my opinion. We're finally reaching towards the climax. So, in order to prepare for the finale, there's a lot of preparation that needs to be made at hand as well. And in those aspects, we're slowly but surely getting there as well, as a notion, and we are currently on schedule to get things going. Yeah, Ordeal Call 1 2 is not written by Nasu. And he's going to have more of that type of story later in life, I bet. During the ninth year, can you tell me the most impressionable stories or event that you've done so far? It's definitely Mahoyo collab. As a Type Moon, we needed to make sure that this collab was 100% guaranteed and needed to be done. We definitely were looking for a great timing to bust them out and set up as long as it needs to, but どのような測っている次第でした。どのようなイベントにするかはナスとも話してあって、全体のプロットを詰める前に3つの案をso yeah, what kind of event that needed to be done? I had discussed with Nasu, and together we had 3 different plot lines in order to make sure that it worked. Plot line number 1. Plot line number 1. FGO の中のイベントしてのマホヨ。It had to be an FGO event Mahoyo. FGO の中のイベントしてのマホヨ。An FGO event Mahoyo. It needed to be that. Plot line number 2. The current Mahoyo has to be in FGO. 今のマホイをそのまま FGO に落とし込むの仕込んだもの。So it's essentially the Mahoyo that you read on Witch of the Holy Night is in FGO. Right? The A, it has to be a Mahoyo event. B, Mahoyo has to be currently accurate in timeline to be thrown into FGO. Simultaneously, last but not least, the event that will be utilized is 10 years in the future. Those were the 3 shenanigans. Those were the 3 conclusions we had in the episodic episode needed to be done. Yeah, that was the when we gathered around. Those are the 3 plot points that we agreed upon, essentially. 今回のシナリオが採用された決め手は The reason why this scenario got approved in the first place. Nasu gave me the memo. Yeah, Nasu gave me a memo, and the third line specifically said had passion for Mahoyo and how ecstatic a Mahoyo fan would have been was the first and foremost. During the memo's detail そしてこの言葉を見てこれをやってこそ本質としても魔法用のコラボを足り得るだろうと感じました魔法用はタイプムーンにとっても頂点の一つな作品なのでそれを汚すことはできないという思いは特にナスと小山の中では小山の中ではあったと思いますそういったプレッシャーの中でしっかりとやりきれまして多くの一言に楽しんでもらえて反響もたくさんいただいたのが印象的でした。So he says it weirdly, very weirdly, but essentially to TLDR this part. He says, why was the scenario approved? In the third line, Nasu specifically says he wanted a passionate Mahoyo fans to be happy, right? And then within the memo detail, the 10-year shenanigans have passed, and that 10-year shenanigans was definitely for Mahoyo by Mahoyo, and it was a Mahoyo collab that can utilize its functionality. So, and he specifically explains that Mahoyo for a Type Moon product, it is one of the pinnacle product for Type Moon to show off. So they can't taint it. They can't they can't mess around with it. So Nasu Komaya, by the way, who's in charge of a lot of Mahoyo stuff, and Takeuchi, of course, they were very hardcore to make sure that this event came to fruition. During those pressure, they were able to pull it off. I'm really glad that a lot of people's responses were positive. That was the most impressionable thing that I remember. There were 2 more, correct? What were those conversations about? 一つは竹棒日記にも書かれていた城の中で起きる魔女狩りのお話で多分 FGO に展開されるイベントに近い印象の内容でしたね。もう一つは魔法用物語でもなんか強く印象を残している。So essentially, what are the 2 other ideas? Takeuchi answers, one of them is the witch hunt that occurs in the castle in the Nasu diaries. As an FGO event wise, it would have the closest impression. Simultaneously, the last one was bringing out the abandoned playground or abandoned. What do you call that place once more? It's the playground. It's like it's got like shit. It's Alice's noble phantasm before she turns the third ascension. It's that abandoned playground, playhouse, play area, theme park. Thank you. The abandoned theme park, and entirely that location gets thrown into FGO and make it into a battle place. I believe as a Witch on the Holy Night promotion, I think the throwing the abandoned playground into FGO event would have been the better option, but it didn't feel like FGO, nor did it feel like Mahoyo when push came to shove. The interviewer specifically stated, "I sincerely believe that if Karadia intervened in those fights, I think it would have been funnier in an interesting way." Takeuchi answers, "I agree. If the prompt and if we were to agree to redo that battle one more time, something like that were to be approved, I think it would have happened." Yeah, it's the event. They wanted to put essentially that three options were, right? The 10-year, right? 10 years in the afterlife. 10 years later, Mahoyo. Throw the abandoned theme park, Mahoyo. And witch hunt within the castle. The interviewer asked, "By the way, during this event of Mahoyo, a lot of the characters have seemed grown up. What kind of conversation did you have with Mr. Koyama, person who's in charge of the characters of these guys? What kind of conversation did you had with him in order to make this happen?" With the plot, and prompt ready to go, we needed a necessary design, so we talked about this with Nasu and Komaya. There were some characters that grew out as expectedly, and there were other characters that came out to us unexpectedly, and a fun little surprise occurred when that happened. Speaking of surprises, I see that Ryogi Kishi, the quote unquote, the couple of Ryogi and the child, right? There we go. The parent of Shiki Ryogi and Miyaki Koto, right? AKA the couple, the K and K power couple. They came along, and that was quite the surprise. I believe drawing Mana Ryogi should have been the first time, is it not? Being drawn like this. Meaning that Baby Mana, technically, I believe it is the first time they drew Baby Mana. Because Mana technically got drawn as like a teenager slash adult in like Elamaloid Adventure. But as a child, the author is specifically saying that Mana isn't this your first time? And then Takeuchi says, "I believe that is the case." She is younger. Yeah, she is younger than K and K, Kara no Kyokai. Future Fukuon, Future Blah. What the hell is that one? Fukuon. It's like Future Blessed Sound. So Future Blessings. So it should be gospel, right? Because it's a good song. It's a good music because it's a blessed music. So Should be in Gospel. Can I find it in Gospel? Can I just type Gospel and it'll fucking show up? There we go. Future Gospel. Ah! Sorry. Yeah, and then Takeuchi specifically mentions K&K Future Gospel. She's younger than depicted, so whenever we were writing in scenario, a scene increase that's not in our main plot line and prompt is a usual Nasu. So therefore, having Shiki and Mikia was one of them. So you can thank Nasu for adult Shiki, Mama Shiki, and Papa Mikia. Because Takeuchi's like, you know how I be. Whenever it comes to writing stories, unnecessary shit comes up with Nasu's a usual thing. So you can thank Nasu. It's both Miyaki and Mikia and Mana was written because of Nasu said it needs to happen. During the making of the CG, Nasu specifically told me, if you have, if you have room for a couple more standing characters, at the very final scene, I need you to add these guys. What do you think? If if you ask me like that, of course I'm gonna draw it. Damn it. Nasu was like, Takeuchi, you working, bro? Hey, if you got the time, can you draw these two? Yeah, 10 years in the future? Yeah. Oh, make Monica like a little child. And now Takeuchi's like, sure. Why not? Yeah, so the interviewer specifically says, I am quite surprised. Just to show those characters only in a few moments. You've created an entire you created an entire character for these two. It's kind of surprised. Yeah, because remember, it takes time for a new character to kind of like show up. Things don't, you know, it takes time to create these, right? Manifest out of the fucking blue. And I believe there's a very yeah. So the interviewer is like, I'm pretty surprised for like the screen time of like maybe two panels, right? Like 2 clicks. You made 2 new characters just for that moment. And Takeuchi has a really good answer for this one. It says this is technically a Mahoyo collab, but at the same time, this feels like an all world around. Feels like Nasu's Type Moon get together party. So if there's some sort of fan service like that, 憎いところと言いますか、入れてくるところが憎いところと言いますか、もうないだろうと思ったところでありますけどと出して、こちらの感情を揺すぶってくることはゲームマスターとしてのキノコの力を感じますよね。It says, yeah, so the sheer fact that the game's gonna get into the final. Don't you think it's hateful for him to do something like that so nonchalantly? Parentheses lol. You would think that there's no more surprises, and then next thing you know, Nasu hands you a surprise button, bust him out to mess with everybody's emotion. I genuinely feels like the power of Nasu as a game master plays a strong role here. 自分自身、その遊び心にしっかり問えないといけないと思いながらデザインしました。I myself, feeling that same way, I needed to make sure that I answered his fun little jibby jabber of that, like fun play, fine game play. So I thought about it and designed it. So it's essentially Takeuchi is saying, isn't he a bastard for doing this, right? Like at the last moment, he gives you a surprise to make your emotions go wild. At the very last, thinking that there was no surprises after that. As expected of a game master Nasu, right? But in order to make that playful feeling, right, into fruition still in this FGO, he made sure he drew it, right? So he didn't feel like a corporate. It says, from what I've read before, the impression that I've got of little Mana, she's quite calm than before, isn't she? Then Takeuchi specifically states that please do understand that she still is not fully recovered from her sickness. That was the settings we kept put on her. The very first prototype for her, we made her expressionless, like super expressionless, to the point that she had no emotions. But it turned out to be super scary and super creepy. So we redrew that right away. Parentheses lol. I'm glad that people were very happy and surprised by this amazing character shown up, and so it was definitely worth doing. So now we're done with Mahoyo. Okay. Next up, double turn to triple turn. The welfare of Swimsuit. What does Takeuchi want as an NPC? I heard at the summer event, the swimsuit Nokunorea being coming into the event was all due to Mr. Takeuchi coming up with the idea and wanting to do it. Was written in the Nasu diary. To my honest opinion, to you, my season 2 LB6, the very scene that made me cry and bawl to tears was Nokunoria drawing her last breath. And so, impressionable wise, she has definitely left me a permanent impression. Nokunoria, we were caught. Nokunoria was being shown and as a possibility of a character that'll be coming out later. Yeah, there was a discussion of Nokunoria coming out or not as a main topic that we had. After Avalon Leifei has finished, in order to fill in the gap, amari aida o akezuni. Yeah, in order to fill in the gap, not getting it too far, we wanted to have an LB6 after event. And during that idea, we suggested that Nokunoria to be a welfare. And that was kind of a topic that was kind of being thrown here and there. イベントで何をするかはアイデア勝負なところがあって、ここでこれが来たら面白いんじゃないのか、こういうのが見たいっていうところを言い合わせ任せて話し合うこともあります。ノクノレアやトネニコなどそういった会議から実装が決まったっていうサーベントなんですね。 So it's essentially saying they wanted to have an after party of LB6, wanted Nokonori to be a welfare. What sort of event they wanted to do, they had an idea battle, rolled it here and there, and had fun with it. They wanted to see things like that, and let the passion wrote it and had quite the conversation. Because of that, Nokonori and Toneriko came in as a result from these discussion and became a servant. Oh, what the fuck? When did this decision get created? 2点3点してあった部分はあって、yeah, we revised it twice or three times. But our first idea was to give Toneriko as a welfare servant. From Nasu's suggestion, scenario-wise, Artoria Castor should have been a welfare servant, and it would have been easier to handle was the conversation. However, in the last notion, we've decided that Nokonorea will be the welfare servant, as the anniversary servant will be Toneriko. And then yeah, in the very end, we could we concreted that Nokonorea would be a welfare, and then start to design her character as itself. Damn, Toneriko welfare servant. That's kind of wild. And then I like how Nasu's like, let's put Artoria Castor Berserker as a welfare servant. Besides Nokonorea, do you have any other NPC that you would like to come out for? My just like my fans, and just like fans all around, I believe Kamasoso should definitely come out. LB6 has a special place in my heart, so Woodworth and the three Goblin brothers should come in as well. Personally, I would love for them to come. Orerico, Artoria Caster, Berserker, and Takeda Shingen. Uesugi and Takeda Shingen. Design concept and info. Let's see. Last year we had Swimsuit Artoria Caster Berserker's first ascension was being explained, but 2 and the second, I would like to hear your concept about them. We wanted the third ascension to be Artoria Avalon. Once we thought about it, we thought about a One Piece like refined lady with a swimsuit image came instantly in our mind. So for those of you who don't know what we're talking about, we're currently talking about Castoria Berserker 3rd Ascension. One Piece Blue Refined. One Piece like, right? Elegant and refined swimsuit was the image that came into my mind. What gave us trouble was the second ascension. Artoria Castor was not a character that pushes erotica or charm of sexiness. So we needed to go on a different approach to kind of make this happen. And that's the circumstances that we came up with this idea. But then again, it is a swimsuit, so we did want at least a minimal amount of sexy element to her, after all. AKA there's a summer meme of Castoria trying to be cute, right? Castoria tried to be cute but fails completely. And then they specifically says we rather have Castoria being cute than sexy, but we did put some element of sexy. So essentially, they're talking about like the open legs there, the space between the stockings and the panties. At the same time, these shoulders opening up right there to kind of show off the shoulders. Very halan, very halan. In the end, the interview says, you went for the bunny like outfit, but what became of sort of things to make it happen like that? There were a lot of Ascension 2 design rough drafts, a mountain of them, you see. And when I got the informations and opinions from people, there was an opinion that specifically says, why don't we just give her a bunny outfit? A bunny ear outfit. Yeah, bunny ear outfit. Um, I thought to myself, that's a little too on the dot, don't you think so? But once we started drawing it, it's not bad, is what we all thought as well. そこで思いっきりネタ新章で振り切ってどうせやるなら不思議のカントリーのアリスのモチーフでとあのデザインになりました。And so we went on we went on the search for a joke. Yeah, we went on a search for materials and jokes and how things can be for cutting off. Cutting off her sleeves, right? Cutting her sleeves off to an extent, the shoulder sleeves. And we added an additional motif of Alice in the Wonderland mystery, and that became that design. Nasu gave us an okay on this as well, so I suppose we got the right answer. Type Moon, the big four heroines, most of them have bunny ears. I sincerely thought, Takeuchi, you're the one who were incentivizing the bunny ears. Wow, honestly, to be honest with you, I'm a cat ear type, but within the staff, overwhelmingly amount of bunny ears is liked around the corp, around the staff members. So as long as we had bunny ears, we would win was the motto for this ascension. Lol. So essentially, Tight Moonstaff has a lot of bunny ear fetish. But Mr. Takeuchi is a cat ear preferential. That's why the Tight Moon heroines are bunny ears and not cat ears. Perhaps one day Takeuchi will draw them in all cat ear. We can cope. Next up, talking about the Savior Tonerico, the Witch of the Rain Tonerico. Can you tell us the design? Ascension 1, we wanted to make a motif of the witch. We wanted to make sure that motif of a witch was the first and center the most. We wanted to make it so that it's modern-like witch, and we made her kind of a warrior type, a fighting style. We had a couple of armor, military clothing here and there designed and whatnot. And had many different types of attire for a witch to be, a magical girl and whatnot. And then we let Nasu decide on what it was. Then Nasu picked up the orthodox witch look. Personally, my second ascension was my favorite. 個人的には第2が一番描きたかったのデザインで、超趣味全開でやらせてもらいました。Personally, Ascension 2 was the design that I really wanted to draw for her, so I went full balls deep, no stop, no cap. So Takeuchi gave Nasu a lot of costume ideas for Morgan, aka ASIC. But out of all the military clothings and whatnot, he took this. Ascension 2 is what Takeuchi wanted to draw. So he went balls deep with Ascension 2. It's so weird because the staff is there, so that's good. Takeuchi went balls deep on Ascension 2. I like the connection with the swimsuit Banshee, Kettoku Mikokeru, second ascension, and it was really cute. That is correct. Because understand that every ascension that Summer Banshee has is a reference to ASIC. So as you can see, nice reference. Second ascension, Banshee no second ascension because yeah, the first ascension is the second ascension's mimicry. And the third ascension is mimicry of not the summer one, but it's actually the berserker one. Yeah, the third ascension is a mimicry of her Morgan's third ascension. And she essentially finds herself, which is very cute. There is a mystic code, not a mystic code. There's also a dress, if I remember correctly, that mimics it too, but we'll talk about it later. ナスの中ではつながりがあったかもしれませんが、デザインとしてでは特に合わせたわけではありませんでした。お互い丸い眼鏡なので、なんとなく通ずるところがあるというのもシンクロシニティみたいで面白かったからですよ。第3については多分普段の洋服が黒いので逆に白い洋服スイムスーツにすることは初めに決めていました。いろいろ若干していた場合、ちょっとごちゃごちゃしぎてましたが、モルガンっぽい雰囲気になりましたと思います。一からだんだんと髪の色が変化しておくところも今回のやりたかった素質です。She does change her hair from blonde to white. You can see the clear color variant from her tips. And then it turns just like that. All white. So essentially it goes I like how Summersuit Banshee second ascension has nice touch to it. And Nasu's eyes and in his head probably had a design connection to it, but in actuality, we never really made it on purpose as a design choice. I think it was cute. Yeah, I think it was funny and it was cute to have both of them circular glasses. That was about it. It was fun, just like having synchronicity. In the third ascension, since we seen a lot of her clothing in black color, we wanted to make it an opposite contrast and make her a white swimsuit. That was the first. Yeah, that was already been decided before anything else. After researching and after doing a lot of pattern matching, it did get a little bit rowdy, but we made it. Yeah, we made it more Morgan-like theme, in my opinion. And my favorite part is from Ascension 1, little by little, her hair color changes. That was definitely the yeah, notion that I wanted to pull off. So, as you can see, blonde, semi blue, and slowly but surely getting whited out into white and blue hair. By the way, feet. All right. Now, going to be talking about Uegi Kenshin and Takeda Shingen having that big sack. Talking about Uegi Kenshin. Continuing this onward, I would like to ask you about Uegi Kenshin. When Mr. Takeuchi was going to write Kenshin, 剣士を書くと焦っていたとナスカラさんは言いました。これはなぜですか？おじさんの原神を出したという話は以降が以前から出てきていたので、自分の中で長石影虎のデザインの完成度が結構高かったんですよ。あのキャラクターの戦記の写真を保ったんです。かつなくてのらりくらりとかわしたり、性格的にやりたくないと言っていたりして先送りして、ただ新しいグダグダイベントで武田信玄の植木謙信に似てる武田信玄が登場するでくるし、これはもうやるしかないなと腹をくくって推薦しました。以外に関しては影虎の時にもう少しこうすればよかったなと思ったアイディアを入れ込んだものにしました。ここはよし悪しあるのですが、影虎は基本的には笑顔しかないピーキーなキャラクターだったので、表情もバリエーションがあまり作れなかったのも心残りでした。第3によってはその節を払ってと払っていろいろな表情をできるような存在として書きました。デザインは一着までのは習いましたが、髪色の白い斑点という思いつきから斑点下り砂にで進んだがデザインをしていく上で経験値さんから指導などありませんでした。経験値さんは漫画家 FGO ではグダグダ系のイベントをやっているようだ。Damn! Fucking Kickin' Son based. What the fuck? Yeah, let's just have her a large fucking pole. Fuck it. Just get her a large stick. Fuck it. It's so funny. Takeuchi said, I bet. Alright. Let's talk about Uegi Kenshin. Would like to talk about Uegi Kenshin. Mr. Takeuchi, you were definitely putting Uegi Kenshin being drawn in the back burner, is what Mr. Nasu-san has told us in the previous. Why is that the case? 5-star Wiki Kenshin being shown out conversation was already been done before, but to be perfectly honest, inside of myself, Nagao Kagetora was already pretty high perfected design of a character design that I wanted to keep. In order to get the Saint Graph Ascension levels. Oh shit! Give me a second. Gotta get some water.自分での長尾影虎のデザインの完成度が高かったんですよ。Yeah, so character's ascension thought process was very difficult to come about, and I was dodging the topic left and right nonchalantly. To be perfectly honest, I straight up told him I didn't want to do it and put it on a back burner. However, when the new Gura Gura event and Takeda Shingen, Takeda Shingen was coming in, aka Harunobu, was coming in forward. I now had no more. Yeah, I was put into the back wall, and I had to pull it off. So I got to work. Lol. So TLDR that entire thing. Nasu asked him to do Uegi Kenshin for a long time. But Takeuchi was just like, nah, my Kagetora be Bay. Yeah, my Kagetora be Bay. And he really liked Kagetora's style. So in order to come up with a better Kagetora, he didn't want to think about it. Or don't he didn't have a lot of inspiration just yet. So he put it in a back burner until the new event actually invited Takeda Shingen, aka Takeda Harunobu, right? And when that happened, he has decided that it is time for him to put on the adult pants. So he drew it. Chat. Of course, he has the parentheses. Whenever it comes to First Ascension, he made Kage Nagatora, added additional effect to Kage Nagatora what I would like to if I had some time. Yeah, I just kind of added the idea here and there, no problem. It was a good thing and a bad thing at the same time, but Kagetora at the base, she was a peaky type of a character that technically did not smile. That only smiled, excuse me. That only had a smiling expression. And so something that made me regret is that not able to have Kagetora's facial expression. When it comes to the third ascension, yeah, I've removed all my limiters and added many different feelings, emotions, and expressions and whatnot, left and right, existence in plane. From design wise, it came very difficult for me to what she should wear and whatnot. However, thinking changing the white black hair, yeah, the changing the instead of a white hair black to a black hair white, we started cooking essentially.デザイン上、行く上で、ケイケイチさんからの指名ではありましたか? So it says, while design, Uesugi Kenshin, right? Uesugi Kenshin. Did you had the Mr. K Kenshi, Mr. Experience, which by the way is a Gura Gura writer and a manga artist? Did he give you any instruction? デザインにアイディアがないという話をしたところ、 大丈夫です。巨大な上等を持たせましょうと自分のキャラに限った話ではありませんが、グダグダなキャラクターについては経験値さんから明らかに指示が出ることが多いですね。好みもはっきりしている人なので、キャラクターデザインのディレクションは私とぶつかることも時々あります。So it says デザインにアイデアがない。It says when design has no idea, the man says, "Don't worry about it. We'll attach a large cannon to him." It's not just when it comes to my characters, but whenever it comes to Gura Gura characters, Mr. Keikenchi has clear image, clear direction, and clear set all in his hand, and a lot of it is already in his head, made in plain sight. The man knows what he wants, and when it comes to characters, directions, and design, this person and I kind of clash here and there. Quote unquote, lol. 影虎のデザイン、影虎のデザインでは、影吉の、影吉の残したいじみはどのような残しやり残したというほどはないのですが、足回りをもう少し綺麗に見せられたなといいかなと今、アレンジする、こんな感じかなともうちょい、足感を見ました。So, Uegi Kenshin has legs. Because not Takeuchi it says, "What was your regret or things that you forgot to design more in detail, if you don't mind me asking?" It says those that are left in detail was not anything important, but definitely somewhere around the leg side. I definitely wanted to show her leg side just a little bit more prettier. If I were to arrange it, I would do it something like this and like that, just kind of give it more leg vibe. So let's compare the legs of Nagao Kagetora and Uegi Kenshin. I suppose, yeah. I suppose not enough legs. The legs got hidden in the fourth ascension. The legs don't exist in the fifth ascension. I mean, this ascension. Oh, in technicality, isn't there a bigger version of this that shows legs? I swear to God, there's a fucking picture gallery that shows bigger version of this shit. No, it's the stage 3 full. Never mind. What the hell's wrong with the stage 1? What the hell was this one? Oh, did it look like... I don't get it. Huh? What's the difference? I can't remember what they did. Anyway. アセンション2のデザインでは原始的なものですが、こちらはどういったコンセプトでしょう？ It says, I gotta ask, second Ascension design was very modern. What kind of concept was it being shown to get this happen? 鉄坂ではありますが、第1が戦闘服、第3が神がかかった姿となると、第2はもう宿だろだとな。It says, I know this is noticeable, but Ascension 1 was a battle outfit. Ascension 3 was possessed by a god. Or, acting like a god. So Ascension 2 had to be modernized clothes. After all, we're putting Takeda Shingen into a red sports car. So if we're gonna put him in a red sports car, I feel like Mr. Keikenchi specifically told us Uegi Kenshin drives a bike. I feel like he said that to me. Going to E. Olga Murray Saint Graph. Why did you セイントグラフは別の方が、E. Olga Murray Saint Graphs was drawn by a completely different person. What's the reason of this? Is it? I guess Supergirl got drawn by him, but yeah, because if you do illustration, he draw purple, but if you go to Servant and Titan Beast, it is actually drawn by, yeah, somebody else. Interesting. It says, why is that? オルガマリークエストで登場するエネミーのオルガは作成数に映しされたオリジナルの色変えでいいと言われました。それなら角も変えたいと思って角変えポイントのデザインを用意したんですよ。その後ナスさんからオルガマリーの個性を長期するためにセイントグラフを別の作家さんにお願いしたと相談されました。それで複数の作家さんに人型の怪獣というコンセプトでイラストを描いてもらってそれを実践にしていく形になりました。Oh, okay. I mean, that ain't bad. I mean, yeah, it's each drawn by different person, which is fucking awesome. So yeah, Olga Murray quest comes in at enemy Olga is yeah, in order to be cost effective, we'll just change colors in Olga Murray. Was the first approach to go. If that's the case, we wanted to change her designs and kind of change her horns in a bit. And so we brought a couple of horn design changes for her. Afterwards, uh, in order to in order to deepen the personal individual personalities and quirks of the Olga Murrays, we needed to have a separate Saint Graph provided by different artists as a concept of a humanoid kaiju, and they have drawn it well, and that is being implemented is the case. So from here on out, it is Edo Story Spoiler. Social 総称にイラストの振り返り、ギャラリー機能のものの予定は、自分の方でもデザインする時間がなかったので、今回はラサングルのデザインチームに案を出してもらいました。20件くらいデザインをいただいたので、その中からこれまで破っていなくてかっこいい制服を選びました。もちろん。Social to illustration look back. And gallery functionality, gallery functionality, and gallery functionality, it's due date possibility. We would like to talk about Socio 2 from here on onwards. 新書き下ろしキャラクターも想像して主人公の主人公も制服姿になっていました。The protagonist has now gotten a school outfit, Right, student outfit. That's kind of cool. Simultaneously, more new drawings of characters and a lot of story characters that came out. That was wild. Unfortunately, I did not have a lot of time to design my own student costume, so I asked the Lasengo designer team to come up with the idea and the plan for me. We had about 20 different designs, and from there, we wanted to choose something that didn't, that didn't overbite and that didn't like, that it's unique. It didn't have any references on its unique. A uniform that was cool looking was chosen. Of course, the female protagonist having loose socks. Loose socks? What the fuck is a loose socks? Oh, loose socks. Female protagonist having loose socks being wear was definitely Lasengo's side of design, so you can thank them. It is a design that did not come from my idea, so it felt refreshed seeing it, in my honest opinion. Oh, we don't get to. Damn it. Do we get to see any? Yeah, we don't get to see any. Okay. Yeah, whatever. あの制服はもともと主人公が着ていたものではないのでしょうか。どうなんでしょう。設定上は総称用のデザインですが、もしかしたら同じような制服だったかもしれないですね。So the player, the interviewer asked that uniform. Did the protagonist wore it from beforehand? Yeah, before he got into FGO. Takeuchi says, I do wonder. Settings wise, we've only prepared a design specifically for Sosho, but perhaps maybe it was the same swim. It could be the same uniform, perhaps. ジャンルオルタがルーラージャンルにもう一人の方はあんたが殴っておきなさいよって言ってましたが、新しいジャンルを書いているということですか？ Oh, interesting. It says when Jalter said, Jalter specifically said to Ruler Jannu beforehand, make sure you, make sure you smack the other, make sure you smack the other one for me. But is new Jannu being drawn? Can that be the new indication of new John being drawn? So essentially, the reader asks, Jalter said to Jannu, punch the other one for me, okay? And then yeah, the interviewer saying, "Are we getting a new Jannu anytime soon?" 書いてないんですけど、そのセリフの真意はお楽しみに。So Takeuchi answers, no. However, that verb, the true meaning of that phrase, right? True meaning of that phrase, I hope you will. Yeah, the true meaning of that phrase, I hope you will enjoy what's to come. So, interesting. FGO は初見イベント CG を出さないか放韓でしたと思いますが、少々にでもかなりの数枚が登場しました。そろそろギャラリー機能があってもいいのではと思いますのが、ごもっともだと思います。点検します。ギャラリー機能があったら嬉しいですよね。So it says at FGO, first and foremost, FGO in the first time, there was not a lot of event CG. I believe that was the direction you guys were going for at first. But ever since Sosho 2 and prior, we definitely had a gargantuan amount of CG being thrown out there. I believe there's high time, don't you think, that FGO have a gallery option? And Takeuchi agrees sincerely. It says, surely, sincerely, I do agree. So I will ask them about this. Because after all, having a gallery function would be quite fun. So Takeuchi agrees to have a gallery function in FGO. The interviewer says, I do sincerely hope that it does come in fruition. Event CG. How did Event CG increase to so much to this account? シナリオやキャラクターではなく、シナリオパートも表情も常に挑戦を行う必要がありますから、その結果一つではありますよ。あその結果の一つではありますよね。あーと、分水嶺になったポイントがあるとすれば、やはりアバロン・レフェですね。あの作者を通じて私含めて作者側も意識も変わったと感じています。So the interviewer asked, there's a lot of event CGs, right? Gallery CGs. Why did it increase so much to this point? Takeuchi answers, not only scenarios are not just characters in general. Scenario parts and expression challenge comes to a necessity as a result of trying to show expression. The complete turnabout or the decisive factor point was definitely Avalon Leifei. Using that as a leverage point, I believe, including myself, the development staff, and the artist staff's consciousness of making that great was a necessity. In Sosho 2, there is a death scene of Kirie. Did you draw that yourself, Mr. Takeuchi? That is quite correct. That is quite correct. I saw the outline, the necessary being, the finishing touch was done by the company. That goes with MASH as well, but Shimokoshi got specifically also with Mr. Shimokoshi's Da Vinci's death scene. We definitely compared it to make sure that it was how freshly and how insane, how what's the word? Namanamashi, yeah, freshly, right? Like lively. How lively it's been bloody drawn. We've taken a balance and consideration and made it happen. And then using that to show the protagonist's reflection in the mirror, that he in his expression being shown like this was quite wonderful. It says, thank you so much. そこは単なる説明のカットにはならないようにと。We wanted to make sure that, thank you very much for their compliment. That part we definitely didn't want to cut in. あそこは単なる説明のカットにならないようにと気をつけながら高速をし。I said, yeah, we didn't want to cut in, and we needed to make sure that it was a simple explanation, and we did our very best to teeter-tot around that circumstances. Finally, Ciel is here. Reaching for the Supreme Variant dress soon. This 今回の時にも、水着サーベントの位置がシエルと聞いたのですが、これは前々から決まったのですか？ It says, from what I've heard, this year's swimsuit servants. Yeah, from this year's swimsuit servants, I heard it's CL. Has this been already chosen before anything else? To bring out what type of character to bust out in this event. We had a whole discussion and argument over it. Choosing the anniversary servant Sometimes it's decided right off the bat. Sometimes it's not decided right off the bat. This time it spinned 2 to 3 times, and during those times, CLs was in the idea, for sure. But me and Nasu agreed and specifically said CL ain't it. And so the interview asked, "Why is CL not it? Can I get a reasoning for the you two to you two to declining that thought process?" It's simple, actually. As an anniversary servant of FGL, CL doesn't cut it. You know. For Archetype Earth, we had a special role for her to play out, which was Archetype Earth for Arcuate. I believe something of that caliber is a change up and a wind up special circumstances that can probably be able to be used only one time. But we still wanted to show CL, and that objective still came in. So we came up with the idea to make her a swimsuit servant and make it a universe type character. And that's where Servant Universe CL came to play. It's quite unexpected. So therefore, the design is a normal CL, became a swimsuit. On top of that, we're adding additional sci-fi like, and sci-fi like design will be added. やりすぎてしまうと知るファンにとってもこれじゃ感これじゃない感が出るので、we don't want to go over too much in order for CL fans to not get upset at us as well. So while adjusting it, we still have to make it FGO like, and we were tuning a fine line for it. Damn, my boy asking the right questions. It says, will Ascension change things big overall? Like for instance, maybe we can get a naked, naked cape like in the Roa era, perhaps. I'm expecting some great things from CL's Ascension. And Nasu's Takeuchi specifically says, that's expecting a little too much. Parentheses lol. But since she is in a swimsuit, I believe I suppose something like that could have happened. CL is always specialized in battle, so there was not a lot of her image of being dressed up in a. There's not a lot of image of her being dressed up. ドレスアップにイメージがなかったと思うんですよ。普通に考えると戦闘服とかかっこいい系に寄ってくると思うのですが、it says, yeah, whenever you come to her in basic outfit, it'll be like a combat suit or some clothing that looks more towards to looks cool than pretty and beautiful. However, she is Tsukihime's I like how Takeuchi is saying that like the forward hand of Tsukihime, right? Yeah. As a quote unquote first half of Tsukihime, as a quote unquote first half of Tsukihime, it doesn't say first half, but essentially at a front of Tsukihime, right? At the front of Tsukihime, she is one of the two big heroines. So we all thought to ourselves that just like Arcueid, she definitely needs some dress outfit as well. So on her third ascension, she will be in a dress outfit beyond your imagination. Ah, interesting. So CL confirmed third ascension dress. Let's see. Archetype Earth. So you're saying that we're gonna be able to see a dress that can compare and rival Archetype Earth, correct? I don't know about compare or compare or rival, but in a way, we've added our taste to have a motif. That's funny. Archetype Earth in the story, she becomes light, right? Light form. She becomes a light form, and sometimes become a giant of the light, doesn't she? And that factor, just a little bit, is shown on her hair. I actually don't want to say that, so I'm just gonna say light form, and just say what the light giant of light, like Ultraman. Yeah, that functionality, that person, yeah, that essence slowly shows it in her hair just a little bit. So we were thinking of what CL's supreme form, right? Ultimate form. In the Kinoko's world, right? You know, in the Kinoko's recorded world, she is a character that is proud to be able to store a gargantuan amount of magical energy. 抑え込んでいても、身からと脳末からエネルギーが来ているというイメージを限定しながら、そんなシエルのドレス姿をイメージしながらデザインしました。So her design is CL in a dress, right? CL in a dress. But the image is that the energy is flowing out of her, even though she has suppressed this magical abundant. So it's essentially, you're just going to see CL just emitting magical energy, and that magical energy is going to look like an awesome dress. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. She is by far the one of the biggest piggy banks when it comes to magical energy, by the way, guys. So that's hence Takeuchi specifically saying that CL's ultimate form is gonna be mentioning her super caliber, which is just magical energy stored like wildfire. In a weird way, it probably will fucking rival Galaxy Servant Universe magical energy. Like, I think Space Ashtaret the Origin would be like, damn, girl! Well, that's good. So the interviewer says, I'm quite ecstatic. Will we able to have a hint of a fully armored, fully equipped CL circumstances anywhere to be seen? It says you will. When it comes to noble phantasms and motions, we've added many different references. So for us CL fans, I sincerely hope you are excited for her to come about. It says compared to Mahoyo, the recreation of the Noble Phantasm animation has definitely been recreated. So definitely worth the watch. Oh damn. So yeah, you know how Mahoyo's Alco fucking bust out the thingy? CL's Noble Phantasm's gonna be fucking 7. So gonna be lit. Then the interviewer asked, "Are you saying the arrival of 7 is true?" Um, and then Takeuchi's like, "You're expecting too much." それも期待しすぎです。So no butt ass naked CL. No 7. No 7. No 7's arrival, chat. Feels bad, man. No 7, but you're gonna see some cool shit, is what they said. Nope, nope, no 7. Takeuchi says you're expecting too much if the arrival of 7 occurs. So there is no 7. Low key, I don't think FGO can handle 7. Your phone's gonna pop before that. Swimsuit Ereshkigal talk. Passion of the artist made a new system come about. Oh, is the fucking affection system came from just the artist? It's kind of lit. Please describe the experience to get Space-ish Reshkigal in the making. First, swimsuit Ereshkigal materialization was one of the biggest objective we had and a hurdle. To be perfectly honest, we were planning to bring swimsuit Ereshkigal in the last year's Summer Servant Festival. That was an idea that did come out. However, bringing out Ereshkigal means that the story will have to revolve around her story. So, ということなので、ナスにとっても実装はまだ持っていくハードル高いキャラクターだと思います。So Nasu specifically, even for Nasu's caliber, it was a very difficult character to bring online, in my opinion, because 実際で待っていくハードルの高いだと思います。サバフェスでは居場所がうまく取れないと予想できたので、先送りする形になりました。The reason why we did not do it is during the Servant Festival, Nasu has calculated that there was no location for a Reshkigal main story to be planted, so he put her forward. And then the interview says, and this time, in full peak, the anticipation finally arrived. Takeuchi says, yes, we definitely waited for a very long time, and thank you guys so much for your long patience for this to come out. It is a swimsuit, and she is awesome having a strong affinity direction to it. She is a beast class. On top of that, she's an anniversary character. It came out just like that, right? Like she was just like, in the end, Summer Ereshkigal, because we pushed her forward, she kind of became a beast class and an anniversary server. Design and illustration perfectionist was already, don't have to say too much, the artist did her amazing best. 作家の圧量やアイディアは FGO に変化を与えるきっかけにもなることがあります。It says the artist's passions and their ideas to FGO always has a chance to make things change around FGO. To be perfectly honest, Miss Mori E, right? Miss Mori E, aka the artist of Ereshkigal, Space Ereshkigal as well. She draws Ishtar, Ereshkigal, Enkidu, Tristan, etc. Yeah, she gave us a ton of ideas for us to reference to. Yeah, she also got quote unquote a lot of craft essence as well. 森井さんといえば大量のカレンの絵がマテリアルに照合されていました。今回もそのぐらい絵は届いたのでしょう。So it says, whenever I talk to Miss Mori E, we have the quote unquote. So if you don't know, so Miss Mori Shizuki, right? Miss Mori Shizuki is in charge of many things, right? This artist. When it came to Karen, chat. When it came to Karen, the interviewer knows the abundance amount of Karen reference pictures were being materialized and had quite the fun sequence. Did this happen as well in the Ereshkigal process? Correct. Takeuchi says, yes, it did happen. To be perfectly honest, even at the rough stage, there were so many ideas that she started pouring it in. As we started to solidify little by little, her ideas never stopped growing. Every time we added something, a new idea popped up in her head, and her passion was up. Yeah, her passion was so high and at its peak. I felt like this artist was going to constantly update herself in order to create the highest peak that they can ever reach and more. The character of Space Ereshkigal was the fruit of her efforts honed to her maximum, efforts. It says, in actuality, please do tell us, because of Miss Mori E's passion, what sort of thing has changed and what sort of things have been taught by her. The battle affinity system, parentheses lol. So Miss Mori was the is the mother of the affinity system of Space Ereshkigal. So Takeuchi specifically says using skills in battles, um, どんなリアクションをしたかによって depending on the reaction of what she said, その戦闘におけるエレシケラのコードがあって、yeah, depending on how it happens, the battle, Ereshkigal's affinity rate will go up. With that, her functionality changes little by little. It says at first, Miss Mori has suggested that depending on the affinity gauge, the noble phantasm animation should change just the parts of it. Was the idea she'd given us. We were wondering if it's going to be a hidden parameter, and once set, an RNG notion was going to be the case, but no. It was fully realized as a new battle mechanic system and came out top. もちろん元のアイデアであった高感度マックス時の方具演出も実際されています。森井さんから出してもらったアイデアとしては、3 so essentially, it says, of course, when it comes to the idea, when the affinity is max, Noble Phantasm animation will also change as well. Miss Mori came up with the idea that at a third ascension being attacked, the screen at the end of it, she should look like a Sabrina, subliminal. Uh,動画の奥でサブニルナルっぽく絵が動く演出が入っています。開発ではビーストフラッシュと呼んでいます。On the third ascension, When auto attacking at max affinity, in the corner side of the screen, back in the very far back side of the screen, the picture moves subliminal images move here and there, animations being added. Development staff call this Beast Flash. Oh, okay. So at third ascension, if you attack, there is a subliminal pictures moving in the background. We call that subliminal beast flash. Okay, okay, okay. I got you. I got you. It took me a little while. I was like, what the fuck is this person talking about? But essentially, there's a subliminal pictures moving about during her auto attacks in her third ascension. Damn. So she added the affinity system, the subliminal system. And then the interviewer goes, to be perfectly honest with you, それだけのものを登場すると, yeah, introducing a lot of stuff to this character, I believe other artists would like to add their own 2 cents and their emotions into it. I feel like your idea is going to increase in many a millennia fold. Takeuchi answers, the ideas we have received as a content director, the content director is doing their very best in their possibility to round it up and make it as possible as they can. If it does become hilarious or entertaining, we welcome every single idea with open arms. This Beast Flash was the concept of this new Beast Flash as well. Miss Mori will always come up with an idea that is far past from the normal rules. So getting idea from them, including her, it's quite refreshing every time, and it's welcome every time. 雑誌のカバーでもエレシキガルとイシタルにファミ通と言わせてみたいというご案内もありました。森さんのアイディアは例外のないことも珍しくないんですよね。でもそこに答えられるかどうかは自分の意思で問われる気がありますし、その遊び心とそれを形するために練り強さには本当に頭が下がります。Really? Damn. So the artist of Mori, specifically during the cover page that she's drawn for Ereshkigal and Ishtar, during the cover page that we've asked her to do, she also asked us that if they could ask the voice actor to voice act Famitsu to make it happen as a potential idea. So essentially, Miss Mori says, hey, I've drawn this. I want you to get the voice actor to say Famitsu in both Ishtar and Ereshkigal voice. Bruh, that's so cool. Only if I can have that as a voice line. That'd be so cool. And then Takeuchi specifically replies with, Miss Mori's idea is so peculiar and rare that it never has a precedence. But at the same time, um, in order to answer her question, in order to answer her call, I always get I always question myself of my hypeness or the flow of the moment to myself. To have such entertainment heart and to manifestate shapes of many different ideas and sizes. It's tenacity. I I kneel. Essentially, I put my head down of how amazing it is. Essentially, Takeuchi is showing respect of Miss Mori's amazing idea potential coming in hot. It's pretty cool. Not just limiting to Miss Mori, Yeah, not just limiting to her. The sheer fact that there's a lot of passion and ideas being conglomerated and given idea is nothing but thank you from our side. Takeuchi answered yes. Any idea. 絵を増やすという意味で作家さんに負担をかけてしまっています。It says any idea, arts and all, increasing meaning that it will have more load for the artist side have to do. But recently, a lot of the artists do not mind doing these multi loads, and they're doing it very extremely diligently. Like for instance, Noble Phantasm cut ins. Whenever it talks about a cut in Noble Phantasms, parts needs to be moved here and there, and it takes really long time. But やはり花形なのでやりたいと言ってくださる作家さんが増えました。But because it is something that is awesome, and it's a part of the process, there's a lot more artists willing to work with us. I'm really appreciated from the bottom of my heart. And the sheer fact that the amount of expression limits have expanded tremendously, and because of this, users and other players also gets happy as long with it as well. Battle characters also included, 2D animations and circumstances all added. It's a game that makes this possible. It's worth going up and beyond doing something insanity and pour your passion to create something so phenomenal. I believe what FGO has currently cannot be implemented in a 3D game currently. And I think it's FGO's strongest weapon currently. We're doing our very best to make that happen. Essentially, like next level shit that you can do with just 2D, right? Essentially, Takeuchi is saying that a lot of the difficulty comes from Noble Phantasms because we ask so much hard work for artists. Because we have to move parts and it takes so much time, but a lot of the artists are now like perfectly okay with it. They are anticipating it and adding more to it, and because of that, expression gauge has expanded to an abundant amount, and because of that, the user player base can be happy to show more feelings and emotions. And they're saying that something, because this is a 2D slash 2.5D, because it's not in the realm of 3D, we can do a lot of shenanigans that a 3D kind of limits themselves into. And I believe Takeuchi believes that that is one of the strongest FGO weapons that it holds to this day and continues to hone. Final chapter, reaching for that goal. And the biggest challenge of the 10th year. Last but not least, Mr. Takeuchi, can you give us your devotions, your feelings towards 10th year? つい最近まで10年というものを意識していませんでしたが、いよいよもう来年になって初めて意識するようになりました。It says, to be perfectly honest, until so recently, I never really thought the process of 10th year coming along. But now that it's almost the next year, I finally had the first time starting to acknowledge it. この手のゲームはサービスである以上、何年続けていくかが目標になりやすいと思います。でも FGO は一貫してゲームの物語を完成することがチームの目標でした。そういう意味では何年を迎えるかという話は不屈的なもので結果に10年を経ってしまった。 という感覚ではありますね。とはいえ、これまで支えてくれたファンに向けてしっかりと記憶に残る最適な10年をゲーム内で用意しないといけないと考えています。終章に向けて盛り上がりを作っていくことになるので、おそらく過去最大規模のチャレンジになるでしょう。引き続き応援などご期待など何よろしくお願いいたします。So that was corporate talk to an extent. But essentially, Takeuchi says as long as this game service type exists, it's easy to put it's easy to put a goal, right? Goal or a year to continue XYZ amount. But FGO, our original goal, right? Our FGO goal was to complete a game story. That was the team's option. Yeah, that was the team's goal, not the service's games. How many years? In that essence, we didn't really care about how long, what year it took, and because of that, in the end, it took us about 10 years to finish season 2. That was kind of the feels for it. But then again, the sheer fact that the amazing fans that have been supported us to all the way, every step of the way, we wanted to make sure that this 10th year would be a memory that is etched into you, not only in game but out game as well. And we know that we're about to go through. We want to make sure that the final traveling through the final chapters, we want to make sure that we are creating something so excellently amazing, and it probably will be our biggest challenge yet ever before. We sincerely thank you for anticipating a lot, and thank you so much for supporting all these years. Please do support us more forever to come. So, Takeuchi saying that, hey, um, these service type games, right? It's easier to put a year and due date and goal, right? But Takeuchi is saying that FGO, first and foremost, it was a game to complete a story. That was the team's first and main oriental objective, right? And because of that, any like celebrating XYZ years was a secondary aftermath, and because of that, it kind of took about 10 years. And then again, they do appreciate the entire support all the way to this 10 years of all the fans, and we make sure that it's etched into everybody's memories to have a wonderful 10th year, not only in game but as just in IP general, right? And Takeuchi specifically states that this 10th year is probably going to be our biggest challenge because we have to hype it up for the final chapter and get things done to get hype more than hype can ever provide. Then interviewer asks, by the way, will there be 11th year? Takeuchi says, of course we will. However, as story goes, 終章を目的に頑張ってきているんですね。So it says, yeah, as story goes, we are currently doing our very best effort to reach the objective of final chapter. In order to reach the final chapter's timing is definitely on user base level. But 最先端で起こっている戦いと冒険を一緒に体験していただきたいです。What? どのタイミングで終章に突入するかはユーザーの皆さんに委ねる部分ではありますが、やはり最先行で起こっている戦いと冒険を一緒に体験。So So Takeuchi says, will there be 11th year? Of course there will be 11th year, but when it comes to story topic, we're doing our very best to currently reach the objective, which is the final chapter. So for us to enter final chapter will depend on the user base, but we would definitely want everybody to be in the front line fighting and exploring the adventure. Period. Huh. That's kind of vague. It's almost as if they want like a set percentage amount of player base to get to final chapter. And once we get a set percentage of player base, they are willing to unleash final chapter. Well, that, my good friends, conclude the FGO Takeuchi, Mr. 2, and Nasu interview.